It's your weekly breakaway for fun conversations on pro cycling. Come join us for another ride beyond the slipstream. I'm Matt Harper, and together with my brother Justin, we'll do deep-ish dives on professional bike races, teams, riders, and all sorts of cycling-related stories. So jump in the saddle and tighten up those shoes. The road awaits. Allez!
Hello and welcome to Beyond the Slipstream. I'm Matt and this is my brother Justin, and today on the show we're talking history, as in the potential to make even more history for the winners of both the men's and women's Ronde van Vlaanderen, aka the Tours of Flanders, which concluded yesterday on the cobbles around Oudenaarde. There weren't any huge surprises when it came to the winners of each, given that the favorites on both sides took the top step of the podia at the end. But in each case, a tantalizing opportunity to make history has presented itself. On the men's side, a superstar has joined a handful of other greats with 3 wins at Der Ronde. Can he make it 4 next year to become the rider with the most ever? But even more importantly, he's now won the first 2 monuments of the season. He'll have his work cut out for him next week in Roubaix, as the parkour is not heavy on climbing, where he usually gets his advantage. But he got second there last year on debut, and if he can win, well, let's just say that the final 2 monuments of the season are considerably easier, for him at least. He's the reigning champion in both. No rider in history has ever won all 5 monuments in the same season. On the women's side, the winner has added a 3rd monument to her palmarès, and it's the 2nd of the 5 for her. This year, we'll see Lombardia finally added to the women's tour, and she'll be the hot favorite. So by year's end, she could have 3 of the 5, and she'll no doubt want to chase the career monument 5-pack in the coming seasons. It's all very historic, very exciting, and so much fun to watch. We'll consider the history and the prospects for more history this week on the show. And as always, we'll finish out with a Fantasy League update and more grinding cobblestone-laden adventures in the Broom Wagon. Allez! Welcome to the show, folks. Matt here with Justin. It is Ronde van Vlaanderen time. What a weekend of racing. Man, that is some race, the Ronde van Vlaanderen, not only for what's going on the race course, but also what's going on all around it. The cycling mad nation of Belgium is just on full display at the Ronde, and I love it. So, we're going to kick it off with the men's race, I think, because the tantalizing possibility of race winner Tadej Pogačar, no surprise there, the prospect of him taking all 5 monuments in the same season has just ratcheted up a notch. He is 40% of the way there. And if he can get over the big hurdle, it's in the middle. The last 2 will be seemingly smooth sailing. Your thoughts?
I mean, personally, I think he can do it. I mean, at least you and I have long considered Strade Bianche to be the 6th monument. So, in reality, he is halfway there right now.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I like that outlook. Well, let's actually pause and stick with our outline that we have taken pains to do. So, let's get into the race itself first. How he won and what played out. What stood out to you in terms of how things played out this year?
I feel like it was exactly what we expected. At the toughest moments is where he did it. I think the biggest takeaway for me, at least with Pogačar, is I don't believe that Pogačar was at 100% yesterday, which is also a scary notion, considering the fact that if he wasn't at 100% and he still won, like, what does that really mean? Because even not at 100%, he is still able to, bury the course. The cobble climbs obviously end up being the part where you get the separation, and out of the 5 riders that went, be Pedersen, Remco, Pog, Van der Poel, and Van Aert, I think you couldn't have asked for a better 5 top 5 competitors in the race. But the big thing with Pogacar is that even when he's not seemingly at 100%, he's still better than everybody else.
Yeah, he's simply a level above all of those guys when it comes to climbing. There's no question about it. He is a better climber than all of those guys. We talked before the show about the fact that somewhere during the pre-show, somebody said that Jonas Vingegaard was coming to this race, and I was like, because I wrote in my notes, "Oh my God, are you for real? This is crazy. This changes everything right now." And what you just said, as it turned out, he was not in the race. I don't know where they got that information. I kind of three-quarters of the way through thought to myself, wait a second, I literally haven't heard Jonas Vingegaard's name mentioned one time. There's no way he's in this race. That must have been a mistake. But for a moment there, I thought that he was in the race. And now looking back, I wonder to myself, like, he seems like possibly the only guy that could challenge Pogacar on a parkour like this. I mean, he can climb. He's a better. I think Jonas Vingegaard is a better climber than Mathieu van der Poel and of Remco Evenepoel for sure. Right?
I think that I think what would be tough for him would be the cobbles. I think if you look at Remco, those cobbles beat the shit out of Remco. I mean, they really, really do. And Van der Poel is able to absorb it a lot better just with his physicality. Pogacar seems to lie somewhere in the middle of those two guys. But again, it's hard to compare Pogacar to anybody else because he's such a unique talent. I mean, he's simultaneously becoming the best classics rider, the best one-day rider, and the best Grand Tour rider at the same exact time, which is just, nuts in and of itself. So if you ask me straight up, do I think that Jonas could challenge him? Yes, but I think the cobbles become the factor. What experience does Jonas have with that type of racing is the biggest thing, because if they beat him up the way that they beat up Remco, then I don't know that he necessarily can, because there is a level of physicality that comes in these cobbled classics that is completely different than just climbing in the mountains and the Pyrenees or the Alps.
I think Jonas is a hard Danish man who knows how to go out there in whatever the situation is and get the job done for family and for country. And I don't think Jonas Vingegaard would just suddenly fall apart on the cobblestones at all. I think that dude is a very smart, studious bike racer. His physique is similar to Tadej Pogacar's. I mean,
with preparation, I agree, but I just if he just showed up and was like, I'm just going to ride this race, I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if he is. I don't know, because we don't see it. So it's like, I can't sit here and say that I don't. I mean, do I think he's capable? Absolutely, I think he's capable. But do I think that, if you ask me whether or not I think he'd be the only person that could compete with him, it's tough for me to say, because I have no history to kind of base my guess on. Do I think his physical ability says that he can? Absolutely.
Well, I would sure like to see it,
It would be
because I don't think Van der Poel will ever beat him again. And I think Van der Poel's only beaten him there once, right? Because like Tade didn't go 1 year or whatever, but I don't think Van der Poel will ever beat him. If you listen to Van der Poel's pre-race interview, he was like, you could already tell that guy did not believe that he could win. You could tell it in the pre-race interview. Because they're trying to keep it light, and they're asking him about Remco and everything, and he was just like, yeah, that's all well and good, and Wout van Aert, blah blah blah, but like we got Tade, like there's that. So like, what's the point of this interview, basically? And then you got Remco, whose climbing has been like quite questionable. And I mean, that's a big question just overall. Like, I mean, can Remco win a stage race again? We saw a very disappointing performance 2 weeks ago or a week ago, whenever was it? Was it Andalusia or
no,
whatever the Spanish stage race was a week ago. Catalonia, yeah. So, like, who else? I mean, Wild's not going to do it again. Mads Pedersen isn't going to do it again. Those guys were miles back, but like Jonas, he's never been tested with the right preparation. I think that is our best hope for a competitive Flanders for however long Tadej Pogačar continues to ride it. It's either that or Paul Seychelles.
Yeah,
The cobblestones will beat that skinny little boy up
for sure. Now, if you ask me who Remco or who Pogačar was worried about yesterday, it was not Van der Poel, it was Remco. He wasn't looking behind. He wasn't looking behind him and Van der Poel to see if Wout van Aert was there. He was looking for Remco. All right, so
of course.
Remco, in my opinion, has the better chance of beating him in a race like this because it's not a stage race, because it's a one-day race, because it's in Belgium. Okay, so there's a number of factors that I think with the correct preparation that Remco is much more of a challenger in this than especially as now again, if Pogačar wasn't 100% and Remco still couldn't hang with him, I don't know what that says, but I also know that this is the first time that Remco's done it. And I think that, with a little more experience and time and the right move, I think Remco would have been there with those guys. I think that it is a very minor separation that puts him in the third place versus maybe second place or even first yesterday because of just race IQ in this particular race. I think Pogačar knows exactly where and when he needs to make the move to garner the separation that he needs to be able to take it to the win. That being said, I think Remco is much more of a threat in this type of race than he would be to a Tour de France or a Giro d'Italia or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. Like Remco Evenepoel is not a stranger to winning one-day races. This man has won monuments. This man has won the world championships. This man has won the Olympic road race. He can go out there and win a one-day stage race. It's completely within the realm of possibility.
Essentially a one-day race.
Right. And let's also not forget that Tadej Pogačar is a couple of years older than him. And
Correct.
at some point, who knows what the bell curve of both of these guys' career is, but it's quite possible that Remco at some point could be higher on a bell curve than Tadej Pogačar is. And if they happen to meet at Flanders one year in the next couple of years, and that is the situation, and Jonas isn't there, that Remco could conceivably do it as well. So I like where your head's at with that.
Plus, it's like once you see, we were watching, I sent you some of those Instagram reels. When you see the level of, I mean, like, how you could not feel like a golden god being a Belgian rider riding in the Belgianist of Belgian races.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Those,
to be Remco, be Wout van Aert, like, it's stunning.
Oh my God. Like, I just, like, the feeling that you get just from watching a clip of all those people chanting your name makes you believe that, I'm like, damn, if I was Belgian, I think I could win.
There's also there's also a mentality in Remco Evenepoel that's like kind of crazed, like you could see him just having gotten third place on debut and having the same conversation in his head that we just had about his capabilities. You could just see him maniacally going after that until he gets it, because he's Remco. Like his ego won't allow him to not win that race.
So, and let's think about it like this. Okay, so first off, if Pogačar and Van der Poel aren't there, Remco wins that race and handily. Mm-hmm. Okay, he puts Van Aert and Pedersen to the sword and drops them, and he is your winner at Tour of Flanders. If it isn't for two, generational talents that so first off, chapo to him. All right. He did a excellent job yesterday. And I think the real story is that with, not any experience under the belt. He comes out and he podiums this race. All right. And it's one of the hardest races that, is on the calendar. So, you cannot take that away from him, but he absolutely would have won that race if it weren't for the two generational talents that happened to be in front of him. All right. So the other side of that, coin is, what if Red Bull, decides like, wait a minute, okay, let's play to our strengths. We got Florian Leipowitz. He's going to take care of our stage races, and let's turn this guy into a classics machine. And if he put his focus there, as opposed to trying to be the other Pogacar, which is what it seems like he wants to be, because unlike Jonas is just a Grand Tour rider. He rides the stage races. He's not doing these one-day races.
And it's uncertain that he could ever really become a dominant stage racer. It seemed like he was more dominant earlier in his career, and that he is naturally transitioning.
But he could be a very dominant one-day racer.
Yeah.
All right. It plays into his strengths. So, and for Red Bull, I mean, think about the fact that it's like you could have Lipowitz, you could all of a sudden take this super team and kind of just lightly change its focus, and all of a sudden you're winning races all over the place. You're winning races like UAE. So, it's an interesting thought to say, is he better served trying to be this superstar stage racer / classics racer, or does he just play to his strength and go to the classics and try to be in competition and try to go away with some of those big races? Because in the Pogacar era, he's not winning a Tour de France. In the Jonas Vingegaard era, he's not winning against these guys.
Yeah, there's no chance.
Proven.
So let's consider what things are still before him that he does not have on his palmarès, that looking back on his career would be big for him. What, in your opinion, what's bigger than being the first Belgian in God knows how long, Belgian man, and God knows how long, to win the Ronde van Vlaanderen? How long has it been?
Huge.
It would be absolutely huge. It's one of those, I mean, first of all, for him to win it once,
again type situations.
Right. For him to win it once would be huge, just for his palmarès, so that he can retire saying, yes, of course I won my home race, the biggest thing in Belgium. Number two, to bring it back.
There's no doubt it's the biggest race in Belgium.
Right. Number two, to bring it back to Belgium. You know what I'm saying? He's got the world championship stuff. He's got the Olympic stuff. You know what I mean? He's won other monuments. I mean, yeah, he could conceivably put his mind to the career 5 monument thing. He's only got one, but it's within that is also within the realm of possibility. But I think having come
that's the one he has, LBL.
Yeah, having come so close, this time on his debut, he'd be insane not to race this race every single time, at least for the next 5 seasons. I mean, look at who came. Tell me of the top 15 people that came behind him, who's going to beat him ever in this race? Wout van Aert, Mads Pedersen, Jasper Stuyven, Florian Vermeersch, Matti Mahoric, Christian Laporte, Gianni Vermeersch, Tim van Dijk. None of these guys. Maybe Tim van Dijk. He's super young and could have a transformation. But you know what I'm saying? For the next 5 years, this man should be gunning for this race.
But in reality, if we're going to talk about riders that could win all 5, he could, because he could time trial MSR. Okay, he could get out front enough in MSR. He's a good enough descender. He's a good. He's his aero nature would suit him very well. So it's a possibility, but
it's possible.
At this point, I feel like every racer in the pro peloton right now needs to, especially if you're in your prime, you need to start giving yourself realistic expectations of what you can win in your career. All right, because look, at this point, if Pog's on the start list, there's a solid chance that Pog's winning that race. All right, and that you're not. So you need to start to kind of think what can we do to gain separation from the situation as best as possible. And you need to start playing to your strengths and start trying to win races that make sense to win races for your career. All
And it's
right.
not as if there are not still prizes to be had in Grand Tours for Remco Evenepoel. Remco can continue to just rack up career wins. I mean,
Yeah.
Remco is arguably the favorite in any TT that he's in for the next couple of years. You know what I'm saying? When you go to a Grand Tour, you're going to get to crack off one, maybe two, maybe even three of them, depending on how the Grand Tour is set up. So that's like, and then you throw in individual stages, especially if he is not fixated on keeping up a GC, this guy could rack up many, many wins.
So therein lies the key, the Vanderpool of it. Okay, like pull that expectation off of his shoulders to where now imagine this. Imagine if you're Florian Lipowitz and you've got a Remco Evenepoel to bury himself going into a hard climb.
Yeah.
All right, we already know that
yeah.
Florian can do it without Remco and get third place in the Tour de France. All right, we already know that that is a possibility. All right, imagine if Florian has Remco
Super
pulling on the
domestique
front
Remco.
as a super domestique. There is a tantalizing thought of something that could beat Pogačar, because this is the thing that we've said is without something otherworldly, you're not going to beat Pogačar.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, herein lies that, this is what I'm saying is that, if you are a pro racing, team right now in cycling and you're not thinking outside the box when it comes to Pogačar, you've already lost. Period. Full stop.
Well, turning our attention to someone who has lost many, many times, Wout van Aert. Wout van Aert, on the heels of his incredible dual performance of Wout van Second, Wout it's the return of Wout van Aert at this race. What a week for Wout van Aert, and your heart just breaks for this man. And yet somehow I have to keep telling myself so that I don't cry myself to sleep every night that like he's not really stressed about it. He loves his family and he loves what he's accomplished in his career, and he's just out there having fun.
And look, you know what? Again, this is one of those situations where we have to temper our expectations against the fact that he's riding against generational talents. All right. He knows that. He is an S tier racer that is racing against double S tier riders. Mm-hmm. Okay. Like, him and Remco, all of a sudden that's a more tantalizing, duo than him and Vanderpool. Like Vanderpool's so far in front of him at this point, it's not even funny. You know what I mean? They're just completely on different pages. So, did he have a great week? Yes. Is it heartbreaking to watch him on the front of these races for as long as he was and then get pipped in the last 200 meters by Ghana? Oh,
yeah.
God, it's Dwaars
door Vlaanderen you're referring to on Wednesday of the week. And I mean, Wout was out there for just dozens and dozens of kilometers only to be caught by an absolute flying Pipo Ghana with 100 meters left to go. I mean, just heartbreak.
Like under 200. And of course, like, that dude's got a giant engine. Once that thing is up and running the way that it was, there's just no chance that he's not going to catch Wout. Wout's completely gassed in that last little bit. And there's a good and when we talk about the comparison between him and Vanderpool, there's a perfect example because Vanderpool was in that exact same position not a week before that. And what did Vanderpool do? He found another gear and dug in and got the win, and Wout wasn't able to do that. So, that's not I don't want to take away, because he's been on great form. He's been riding, he's been animating, he's been very entertaining. It's disappointing that it hasn't translated into a win for him. That's the sad part.
Yeah. Well, let's hope he's not too bothered by it. It sure does make those races exciting. And I think I was mixing up Dwaars door and the one from the week before. That was the one where he was out in front for so long.
Correct.
Dwaars door, he dropped Niklas Larsen like very close to the finish, and then it was like, can he hang on? And the peloton was 5 seconds behind him. So Yeah,
and
that
it
was
just yo-yoed like that for like 14 or 15K, where it was like, 15 seconds, 7 seconds, 15 seconds, 7 seconds, 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 5 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, so disappointing, but well, we love you. Let's finish up the conversation with this query. Can Tade win all 5 monuments this season? Yes or no?
Yes.
How does he win Paris-Roubaix?
The same way he almost won it last year, but with an entire year of prep and now knowing exactly what he needs to do. And I think it's just like anything. I think it's like anything else. He needs to make his separation in a place where it makes sense. Somewhere on some cobbled sector in Paris-Roubaix, he's got to gain separation from the group enough that he's able to get out in solo. Because if he can, if his form is on, and he now knows that he can beat Van der Poel, okay, in a not that climby race. All right, MSR proved it all. All right,
yeah,
100%. He has the ability. It can be done. So it's a matter of. And at this point, I think it's will, more than anything. But I think that he is like a Jordan-esque type where he can just will himself to victory if he wants it. And I think that he really, really wants it because this is something that's never been done. Look, the never been dones are very tantalizing to Pogačar because that's the only way that he's going to get separation from Merckx as far as, being the greatest ever.
Yeah,
right?
He has 2 distinct advantages that I see going into this race. Number one is I don't think Van der Poel is on the form that he was on last year. I cite as evidence him almost losing the whatever it was it E3 where he outfoxed them, where the chase was literally on his heels, and credit to him, he won the race. He did
in that race.
He did have an extra gear that he knew about that he had kept in hiding, and he outfoxed him. He made it look like he was done, and they relaxed for a second. Was it a direct cause and effect there? Maybe not. But anyways, he got that done. But as I said, he in his pre-race interview for Tour of Flanders, you could tell that he didn't think he had it. So if that's his form, barely winning E3, not like getting on a solo breakaway like he's done in the past, not winning Flanders, and finishing almost a minute behind Pogačar. And then the other, so you got that is Van der Poel's form, and then the other thing is Pog has Florian Vermeersch. Florian Vermeersch is the reigning gravel world champion, and that guy's been crushing it all year long. Who does Van der Poel have that's as good as Florian Vermeersch across that kind of terrain?
The other thing is that we know that the two of them have been in Roubaix training. All right, we know it. We've seen it. It is logged all over social media. So we know right now, without a doubt, this one is more important to him than any of the other ones. So he has been putting in the prep. And my guess is, because these guys are ultra planners, is that they know exactly where they're going to do it. They already know. They've already got a plan, and it's all about just executing the plan. The only thing that I think holds Pogačar back in this week is, again, I don't believe that he was on 100% yesterday. And again, obviously his not 100% is still better than most everybody else's 100%. But I don't think
Van der Poel was on 100% either. So
I've never seen Pogačar in a post-race interview with like the supreme bags under his eyes. I mean, dude, he had check luggage under his eyes yesterday in that post-race interview. And, that gives me a little hesitation towards whether or not he'll win Paris-Roubaix. If he is perfectly fine and it just was, the camera and the time and he was tired and it was a long day, okay. But if he doesn't come in with a complete fire in the belly, like, he can't win that race. But do I think it's possible? Yes. And if he wins this week, the other two are a foregone conclusion. He will win those ones. Like,
this is arguably the biggest race of his career coming up.
Yes,
in 6 days' time.
Huge.
let me finish this out with two quick other sort of factors that could play into it. Number one, Van der Poel has already won Roubaix twice, three times. So he lacks the fire that a guy who's never won this race would have.
Huge key.
Number two, let's say we get a carbon copy of last year, except Pog doesn't crash. I feel like in the form that they're in right now, that Pog would beat him in the sprints. But as we know, Mathieu van der Poel is crash proof. Pog is injury proof, but van der Poel is crash proof. So Pog
Except for in a world championship.
Yeah, that's true. That barely even that one doesn't even count, man. It was wet out. Anyway,
it was wet as shit.
Yeah. So,
Glasgow.
So let's keep that in mind. All right. Well, it's going to be an amazing weekend next weekend. I can't wait. We're going to put a cap in it right there. And when we come back, we're basically having the same exact conversation on the women's side with a few small differences. Stay with us.
Please check out our other show, Inglorious Brothers, a pop culture show with cult classic swagger. Search and subscribe in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, or click the link in the show notes.
All right, welcome back. We're jumping headlong into the women's side of the race. Now, I thought for sure the women's would end up being better than the men's, as has often been the case in monuments over the past, let's say, 18 months or so. Not so. I thought they were kind of even. I think,
agree.
my opinion, in terms of like the excitement factor.
Well, I mean, in reality, they were identical races. All right, Pogacar and Vollering both attacked in the exact same spot in both races, with almost the exact same amount of time left.
It's uncanny.
Yes, they both attacked on the Ode To Kwaremont and left everybody by themselves. So we had two solo victories. But I will say this: Pogacar went with the black trunks. Demi went with the white. Demi's white European kit with the white bike. That thing was just
agreed.
Good.
Agreed.
God damn, did it look good.
Agreed. And it made for a great finish line celebration, but I'll leave that to you because I know you want to mention it. Pog still does look like an assassin with the black shorts on, but
he's been doing the white shorts, the white on white for like weeks.
I know. It was an interesting change. I have to imagine he'll be in the black shorts next week. What do you think? Well, I don't know. Maybe, who knows?
Probably. I'm thinking because of the dirt is the reason why.
But if it's dry, he still might go with the all white.
We'll see.
Demi is quietly following in Pog's footsteps, I feel. All right, she has won a handful of Grand Tours, and she has won a handful of one-day races. She's now won her second monument, and as I said in the intro, they're adding Lombardia to the women. So the women now have 5 (6) monuments, as the men do. She has won. She has now won 2 of the 5, and the one in parentheses. So she's halfway there. And
I think her biggest challenge would be Roubaix as well. I think she could win the other 2, no problem.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Well, she's won LBL already. That's the one that she's won. She would need to win MSR, and she would need to win.
That will be the tough one.
But here's the thing: MSR and Strade are somewhat similar, somewhat analogous in terms of, obviously one's got gravel and the other doesn't. And MSR is much longer. I don't think a long race is ever an issue for her. Gravel is certainly not an issue, and there's not the unassailable climb that she can use in Strade Bianche to win there. Nor is there that climb in, she's got the Pog. She'll have the Pog problem at MSR, but as she's demonstrated, she can win. She finds ways to win on a variety of different courses and parcours and stuff like that. So I have to believe that she this must be part of the package for her now. The Palmares package for her is getting all 5 monuments. She could do it 100%.
I think she absolutely has the ability to do it. It's just, and I will say one of the things that I've taken away from this year versus last year with Demi is she seems to be mentally just in a way better place, dude. Like
So much
her
better.
mental just seems to be so much better this year than it was last year, and I think it is translating into her, having an easier time winning some of these harder races. And, look, man, as far as I'm concerned, dude, she should be paying attention to how Pogacar is winning these races. Because I don't think it's a coincidence that she attacked in the exact same spot that he attacked. I don't think it is coincidental at all. I think she knew exactly what she needed to do, where she needed to do it, and that nobody else in that giant group. By the way, now I will say this. Roysa and Kim LaCourt-Pinard going down plays into her win yesterday, 100%. Roysa would have been with her if she's healthy.
Kim LaCourt, I'm not so sure about her.
But
She's
Roysa
had
would
a
have
less
been
than stellar season, but Roysa for sure.
Yeah, so
Royce already demonstrated her form earlier this week
Yes.
in Dwaars door, which we haven't mentioned
and
yet.
Speaking of, so her and Kim LaCourt go down at like 47K. So after the separation of the big group, but they went down somewhere in that middle after the first climb up the Kwaremont. So that's the only question mark I have that I'm going to put on her for yesterday is that Roysa would have made it a much more interesting race. But it's within her reach to be able to actually get all 5. But again, she has people in this peloton that can really, really put her, to the screws. And it's a matter of her, maintaining the level that she's at. But I think if she maintains the level she's at, there's not very many people that can hang with her. Because even PFP couldn't hang with her yesterday. All right, PFP and Puck Peterson are 2 very good racers, and they couldn't hang with her yesterday. So, but I think the only one right now, at least as we've seen, I think the only one that could really, really compete with her in this situation would have been Roysa, but she wasn't there. So,
yeah, that was very disappointing. Notwithstanding, she is on course to to have the season of her very good career. She's had some damn good seasons, but if you look at her season right now, she won 2 stages plus the GC and the points at Valenciana. That's how she started her season. Two stages out of 3, mind you. She then wins Omloop. She comes 20th in Strade Bianche. Obviously, that's the big question mark that we've been talking about. And then she gets second in Dwaars door behind Roysa and first. And now she wins the Tour of Flanders. I mean, it doesn't really get much better than that. Maybe if she had won Dwaars door, but like, kind of who cares? She can go out and win Dwaars door if she wants to.
Do you think she cares more about Dwaars door or Flanders? Because
exactly.
Now she's got the monument, so
she knows where to peak. She just looks unassailable. And the thing about her is, can you recall a single moment this entire season when Demi Vollering had a stressed look on her face? I can't. Can you remember Demi Vollering's shoulders rocking back and forth at any point during this? No. She is an absolute machine. That's why I say she's quietly kind of shaping herself after Tadej Pogacar, because this woman she's incredible right now.
So what does the rest of her year look like? Like, what does she still have on tap?
She's not doing Roubaix this year. I mean, obviously that's something that they're going to plan from way out if and when she decides to do that. But she got Amstel Gold, Flèche Wallonne, LBL for the rest of the classics. I believe she has won. She's definitely won Flèche. She's definitely won Amstel Gold, and she's won LBL. So there's 3 races that she has already won. So she could keep piling on the wins, especially considering her form right now. I I don't know who's going to beat her in Amstel Gold. Puck, maybe.
Yeah, and we don't know what the result of the wreck yesterday with Roysa and Kim LaCourt Pinar was. So I looked for it all last night, and they have not put out any updates. And in that wreck, like if you go back, so if you're interested and you go back and watch it, there's a wreck around 47K that involved the two of them and a few other riders, and somebody in that. Kim LaCourt Pinar is on the ground, like, not prone, but like on her side, not really moving. And then, I don't even know how to describe how Roysa is like off to the side, looks less, but there was another rider that was like laying on her back. One of the two of them is like screaming, like wailing, and so somebody got hurt in that wreck, or they were in pain because of the situation with the bikes. I don't know what it is. I'll be very interested to see what the result of that wreck is once it is announced. So,
well, the result for Marlon Roysa is that she is out with a fractured vertebra, and the next race that she has on her program is Tour de Swiss Women on June 17th. So
I mean, that's
no Ardennes for Marlon Roysa. I don't know if she was planning on that, but that's certainly a big shame. It was tough to watch that crash. It's like 2 weeks in a row, or two monuments in a row, that the women have a horrible, hard to watch crash. It's such a shame too, because that one was just a touch of wheels, but they were going really, really fast in the peloton, and a whole bunch of people. It happened like right in the middle of the pack, and just took out a bunch of people. Yeah, real shame for my fantasy team, as we'll get into, I'm sure, no doubt.
such a shame. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get into it.
But yeah, I mean, I don't see many challengers for Demi in those upcoming one-day races, all of which she's won before. And then after that, it's off to Giro, Tour de Suisse, Tour de France. Sky's the limit for this season. I can't even imagine how hungry she is for that Tour de France, second Tour de France win.
And did you see her two? She had two unique celebrations at the end of the race. Did you see them both?
I believe, yeah.
So she did her Zen thing when she crossed the finish line, which I just absolutely love, where she like comes together with that like leg kind of cocked out, like in like almost like she's standing on one leg with her foot like on her knee, but she's actually just got her foot on the pedal that way. So she did that one, and then she did the bike race.
The bike race?
The bike race.
Oh, the bike race, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's challenging Lorena Vibas for best finish line celebrations, for sure.
Yeah, this is true. So must be something about that European Champions jersey, because all of a sudden you're wearing that thing and you're putting up really, really fun finish line celebrations.
She'll be going against Vibas, Chabe, Newadoma, Swink. Well, not against Chabe, but Newadoma, Swinkles, Kat Ferguson, Neem Fisher Black, Bredevald, Naomi Rugg, all of them in Amstel. And I would say that one could be tricky for her to win, because as often happens there, it comes down to a sprint. And while I think her sprinting is certainly solid this year, having the likes of Lorena Vibas, Kat Ferguson, Naomi Rugg in there, she ain't beating any of those three in a sprint.
Yeah.
So,
very true.
But she's already won it before, and not really, I would think, like amongst her biggest goals is a second Amstel Gold win. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Now, she is trying to rack up numbers. I believe her win was, what did they say, was a 60th, 70th of her career?
I did not catch it. I don't have it in my notes.
So there's always the accumulation of wins and points and all that stuff. Of course, winners like to win.
So do you have anything else on that? I do want, before we get to the Broom Wagon, I do want to throw one thing out.
Please do. I think I have a couple of random things on both of the races.
So I do want to shout out the old man, Jan Itzagire, for winning the Miguel Indurain one-day race earlier this week. The old man showed up all the young bucks and was able to take the first win in a long time for him. I didn't look up how long it had been, but it was really neat to see him win. I believe this is his last season. I think he's retiring at the end of the season. So, I just wanted to shout him out because, what a great little win for him. And, what a sweet and wonderful man he is.
Yes, and unfortunately, his win came at the expense of Quinn Simmons.
Yeah, well, Quinn's got a lot more time to rack up wins, and for whatever reason, he was on form that day, man. He
put Quinn to the sword.
Yes,
I would say, like, after 30 seconds after he attacked, like, they did a head-on shot, and Quinn was just like miles back there. You could barely see him at all. So, really crazy descent in the finish there too. Like, it was just like a series of hairpin turns that were just nasty. What did you said you had something else you wanted to shout out? I got a couple of quick things.
No, I was gonna jump into the fantasy update, but go ahead. What else you got?
I have to shout out Lika Nguyen of Visma Lisa Bike. This girl's on the come up. She made a real strong showing. She almost beat Demi and Marlon Roysa in women's Dwaars door, and she played a pretty big role for Visma Lisa Bike in Flanders as well.
And MSR.
Oh yeah. So I wanted to shout her out in the women's race. And I thought there was one other thing from the women that I wanted to mention. Well, I don't see it, but the other thing I wanted to mention was this guy that was in the men's race. And I loved it that Jez Cox, the commentator, was very familiar with this dude because he does a lot of Asian races. Did you catch this part?
I guess not, no.
Yeah, Mongolian guy. First time a Mongolian has ever run the Tour, raced the Tour of Flanders. He's for that Burgos Berpele Biachi team.
Oh, he's Mongolian.
Yeah, Mongolian. His name is Jambaljan Sayin Bayar. And they interviewed him in the beginning. Like, I'm just like, heck yeah. And then he got himself into the breakaway and was all over the first 90 minutes of this race. So, big shout out to Jambaljan Sayin Bayar. And yeah, I think I just want to get that in there. Let's turn now to our fantasy cycling league update. This could get ugly for you, I suspect. I have not seen the actual numbers. I will pull the spreadsheet up now. Bring it on.
So, Matthew, you took 1, 2, and 3 before I even go in, Monuments weight pretty heavy in the points. All right, you get 30 for a win, 20 for a second, 10 for a third place win. Matt, you racked up 60 points in the men's race by taking not just first, not just second, but also third, with
pretty crazy.
Your 3 riders being Pogačar, Van der Poel, and Remco. You also took points with Roysa this week at Dwarsdorp Vanderland. As she won, bringing your month total right now for April to 92 points. All right, and your overall total to 428. All right, I did take first in Ronde with Demi Vollering. I did take second in Dwarsdorp for 39 points for April. But I have a measly 348 points on the total. Matt, you are currently leading by 80 points. And that's why I say I'm not that disappointed that Marlon Roysa may not be garnering you any points for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. That was a rough week. Well, we both had losses going in or during. Of course, you did not have Mariana Voss on your squad as she her
Yes.
father passed away, and so she's taking a little time off. It sounds like. I lost KLCP and Marlon Royce up, halfway through the Ronde, so that certainly did not help. But PFP came through for me and got
Oh yeah,
20
you did have
of the
PFP in
remaining
second place for her too. Yeah,
the
sorry, I
remaining
forgot
30
to make
points
that
on
note.
offer there. So
Yeah. So
I was surprised that my girl out of Kopecky did not do better. I was really, I don't know, after her MSR win and everything, I was just really expecting a
I
little bit more
I
from
just I
her.
think she got caught in the wrong split, and she was just with that she was with that Chabe group, and I just don't think that they were positioned well enough to be able to contend when Vollering finally went. And again, this is the thing that I said earlier. Vollering's win was very Pogacar-esque because they both attacked in the exact same spot, but they also attacked early on in the exact same spot. So it's a very identical race. It's funny that we say, like, these races are kind of boring, but it's funny that the women are using some of the same planning that the men are as far as when to attack.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, outlook for next week on the women's side, I'm definitely looking better than you, I would say, with both Kopecky and defending champion PFP. I think your best hopes are going to be, well, is Weebus going?
I don't know. You have to look.
Um,
God, I hope so.
yeah, yeah, that could be a difference maker for sure. I'm going to tell you right now, Lorena Vibus will be at Paris-Roubaix Farm
All
as
right.
well as
Well,
Amstel Gold. So, uh, yeah, so you've got
her
her,
form's been great, so I need some points. Come on, Lorena.
and then you've got Bredevald and Chabe. Will either of them be going? Let's find out. Misha Bredevald will not be there. Uh,
Will I have Mads Pedersen for?
Elise Chabe will be there. Chabe could win that race.
Mhm.
She's a hard ass.
What
Um,
about Pedersen for Perry Roubaix?
Pedersen will be at Paris-Roubaix.
Oh, there's man. One could hope.
Yeah, so on the men's side, I mean, I'm looking good with Pog and Vanderpool as always,
Hmm.
but nothing outside of those two.
And you
Remco's
can't
not
rule
going.
out, dude. Remco is not completely ruled out showing up for Perry Roubaix.
Well, I guess, yeah, if this past week was any indicator. Uh, on the other hand, you've got Phillipsen, you've got Pedersen. Is Milan going?
I would think doubt it if Pedersen is.
Let's find out. He will be there.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Milan and Pedersen. I would
All right.
think Milan will be there working for Mads Pedersen, but who knows?
Tantalizing.
That's
Tantalizing.
going to be interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, I would say then if I had to predict it, I reckon this time next week we will both be. I think we'll both have around the same number of points coming out of it. Well, for the week. I think this week. I think this. My prediction is that this week ends up as a wash, and I'm still well ahead of you on GC.
I'm thinking as well.
Um, yeah. All right. Well, of course, fantasy makes it fun. So fun. Broom wagon time. Justin, what do you got for us?
The first thing is something that I did have you watch earlier. The Jordi Mayus. I have two things. One real broom wagon item. The other one is just I thought was interesting. Jordi Mayus and Christophe Laporte got into it after Dwaars door earlier this week, and I thought it was quite interesting. Their little tete-a-tete that they had with each other. Mayus complaining that Laporte kind of stole his line, which I don't really agree with. I think maybe he got a little argy-bargy with the elbows, but
Yes.
but that's about it. As far as
Exactly.
I'm
If you
concerned.
watch if you watch Laporte's bike, it does not move over at all. He leans his body a little bit. He throws the elbow out a little bit. Or, like you said, he does a little argy bargy, but the bike doesn't move. And Jordy's direct complaint was, you went in my line. He literally says my line or your line
Yeah.
or you left the line. So he can be forgiven. It's a heated environment.
I just
Seconds after a sprint happens.
I just love the era that we live in, that like all of this stuff has a place that it shows up for us, that we can see these little behind the scenes moments. I love that.
Yeah, I'm sure
All
that I'm
right.
sure that
So
riders do not like that.
onto my real Broom Wagon item. Let me set the stage. It's 1987. All right. Cutting Cruise. I just died in your arms tonight. All right. It's probably playing on your radio somewhere. All right. And it's
What a
Holy
reference.
Week in Belgium. All right. And the Ronde is going on. All right. And you see on the Koppenberg Jesper Skibby, all right, climbing, struggling up,
The Skibster. Come on, Skibby.
and you see what can only be described as is one of the absolute most horrific things to come out of the less camera era of cycling, which is Skibby is climbing the Koppenberg, and he is struggling, and so his bike kind of goes sideways, and he's literally hit by a car in the train of vehicles. All right, coming up from his rear, he is hit by a car. He then goes down, and then what does the car do after hitting him? Runs over his bike. Like what? Like I've now taken to going back and trying to find like neat little incidences that have come out of these long, long held races, because there's some really fun stuff that pops out. I'd never heard of this of the Jesper Skibby incident, and I went back and watched it, and it's absolutely nuts. You're talking about a road that is not much wider than the BMW that hits him. Okay, and this BMW takes absolutely no care about him, his condition, or what's going on in the race, and just hits him, rolls over his bike, and then keeps on going. And then the car behind him almost hits the guy that's helping him get back up off of the goddamn cobbles. Like what? Like what the hell was going on in this race? Like, how
There
is this
is
even possible that this happened?
there's a name for this sort of incident, and that name is attempted vehicular manslaughter. That man should have been thrown in jail. You left out two very, very crucial pieces of information here. Number one, that car, I believe that car was the race director's car, because there was a guy standing up out of the sunroof of the car. And when it struck our boy Jippy, what's his name?
Jesper Skibby.
When it hit our boy Skibby, the Skipster, he hits him and Skibby falls over. It's quite clear that he has fallen over because he puts his arm out, and I think he caught himself on the berm on the side of the road. That's
Yes,
how small these
because it's
roads are.
very tight, super
So
tight.
now- so
there's
now
not
he's
even there's barely spectators because it's so tight, and there's nowhere.
Well,
for anybody
the
to stand.
spectators are up off of the berm
Yes.
for the most part. They're up off of the berm where they should be. That's going to come into a factor in just a second. But so now he's flopped over and he's literally at a 45-degree angle and he is stopped. Right. So it's quite clear you've hit this guy and knocked him over, and for the guy behind the car, the race director no less. This is not a team car trying to keep up with their rider. It's a race director to look over and be like, oh yeah, we just knocked that guy over. Let's carry on. And then boom, you run over his bike tire. I mean, it is unbelievable. That guy should have been arrested. I'm not kidding. And then before the second car hits the spectator who's trying to help Jimpy, the race director almost takes out another spectator as he's pulling off. There's somebody in orange that's down on the berm, like not on top of the berm, but down like right next to the road, like leaning against the berm. And boom, like I think that person was about to walk out into the road to go help the cyclist out, thinking, well, there's no way
Pretty
this
sure
person
that orange guy was a gendarme.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, that was just absolutely wild. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm down for discussing this old kind of stuff anytime you want. Anytime you want.
But anyway, Jesper Skibby, we have not forgot about you. All right, we have not forgot about you.
He'll never be forgotten. Like I said, I'd seen that in the past, but I'd love taking a fresh look at it. What ended up happening with him in the race? Do you know anything about the
I did not. It was definitely an official's car. It was a race official's car. That is in my notes.
All right. Well, report back to us in the future on the outcome of that race.
You know what? I will make sure that when I look these things up, that I look and see what they did in the finale.
Yeah. Excellent. And for the rest of their career while you're at it. All right. Well, my Broom Wagon for today's show is getting a dedication. This one goes out to my mama, our mother Beth, our number one fan, because I'm zagging from cycling and doing a sports story here.
This was crazy. I did watch the video.
Oh, you did? Okay, yeah. So I wish you hadn't, because I had to set up for it, but no big deal. All right. So really amazing happening in the world of baseball this past week. Not quite as amazing as the Shohei Ohtani game from last year. It was a game, right? Yeah, didn't have the great game. Yeah, the game where he struck out 10 guys and hit 3 home runs. But pretty awesome game here. So the player in question is Joe Adell of the the Anaheim Angels? Yeah, the Los Angeles Angels, whilst playing the Seattle Mariners on April 4th. This guy had an unbelievable night. So like early in the game, sun is still shining. He's an outfield, the right fielder.
Right field.
Yeah, he's a right fielder, goes back and gets a jumping, robs a home run with a jumping catch that had his glove, going over the top of the wall. Awesome catch, place goes nuts. I think it was a home crowd. Yeah, it was at the Angel Stadium. Pretty awesome. 5 innings later, he duplicates the event. It's now dark out. They're under the lights, and almost the same exact spot, same exact height of a thing. It was almost exactly the same. But now he's done it twice in a row. And then, like in the 8th or 9th inning, guy gets up and hits a massive high fly ball to right field, going way, way right. And you see my man take off, and he does the classic, like diving for the ball right at the foul pole, over the thing. He hits the wall with his thighs, right there where the wall is really low. It flops into the crowd just as the ball nestles itself in his glove for the 3rd one in a row. Of course, the Mariners challenged the call because it's hard to see if he still had it after he fell or whatever. But I believe if I'm correct on interpreting what the announcers were saying, if the ball is in your glove and then you hit and go over the wall, like it's a catch. Like it can't, you don't, like if you fall over the wall and then your glove hits the seat and the ball pops out, it's still a catch. Like, it's ruled a catch the moment that you've crossed the threshold. Really awesome. Quick little video that I'll link to in the notes. It's 5 minutes long, something like that. But just a fun watch, and good on that guy. What an awesome night from our mom's favorite sport. Hello, Beth. That's going to be all for this week. Join us next week for full coverage of the conclusion of Pro Cycling's Holy Week in the 3rd monument race of the year for the women and the men, Paris-Roubaix. Until then, for my brother Justin, I'm Matt Harper. Thanks for listening. We hope you'll join us again soon for another ride beyond the slipstream. Ale!
Beyond the Slipstream is a part of the Harperama family of podcasts. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Please like and subscribe, smash that button, leave a 5-star review, and most importantly, tell all your friends about us. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time. Ale!